I want to make a video discussing how women react to a guy who really understands style and a guy who really doesn't. My mentor Fuji, DJ Fuji, used to say, we would discuss like clients and stuff, and he would say if a client's overall package, like assuming all his like perceived social value and actual social value, let's say the guy's a 7. With proper coaching and game, he can get to a 9. He can get a girl who's a 9. If a guy is a 6, he can get an 8. If a guy is an 8, he can get a 10 with game, right? So add 2 points for the ability to really run good communication and good game. I would say with that in mind, style will give you another 2 points. So if you're like a 5'4" guy who's not born good looking, game will give you 2 points and style will give you another 2 points to get you a 9. That's how powerful style is. Most men don't have a lot of style. In fact, I would say 90% of guys don't have good style. They think they do, right? Like half of those guys think they have good style, but in reality, they're just very normal looking. And when you reach a certain level of what we call elite status, elite style, people automatically give you the benefit of the doubt. Now, there are some exceptions in certain social circles in LA, New York, and other like more metropolitan cities where you'll meet a lot of guys with pretty good style, but I would say most of the time it's pretty rare. I'll tell you mine because it's mine to share. When I first started, I was a 23-year-old virgin. And the insidious thing about bad style is that nobody tells you that you have bad style. Why? Well, it's hard to tell someone that they look bad. And also, because most guys don't have style, they're not even in a position to tell you that you have bad style. And girls don't want to tell you that because girls don't want to be confrontational. And most importantly, most guys have this ego about like how they look, their dating life, how good they are, how masculine they are with girls. And so as for a girl to say you have bad style, she's inviting a lot of potential negativity without the returns. It's very rare when a girl's like, hey, I think you can really improve your look to get your results that you want. And the guy's like, yeah, I want to learn. The guy has to be at a point where he's open to that, and very few guys are. So this is the reason why I think I was just so lost and didn't know what to do with style for so long. And when I finally broke down and cried and, I was a virgin, I was very, very depressed because I had been out of school and I had done everything according to society standards, and I couldn't even get a girl to like me back. I've been rejected probably by at least 20 girls at this point, and I was still a virgin at 23, and I was just like really lost. So long story short, I ended up finally figuring out a way to improve my game and in the process improve my style. And you can see here in the pictures that I went kind of the opposite, right? I was used to, suit and tie, management consulting, East Coast, very formal, prestigious. So I wanted to go the other way. I dyed my hair, I got earrings, I even got tattooed. You can tell I was very committed to finally digging myself out of this hole where I felt like such a loser for such a long time. And I went all out, I went more of a rocker stance. And then over time, as you'll see in these pictures, I found more of a natural style that fit me. I wanted to have style be used by me and not using me. So I wanted to be like, can I get ready in 10 to 20 minutes max and go out there and attract women? And I realized that my style was kind of a combination between this like elite suit and tie kind of guy with like more of a rocker, edgy type of guy, but I knew how to dress up for like more social events. So that was kind of my dichotomy of my style. And I was able to refine it and perfect it. And it got to a point where I can dress up like in a jeans and a V-neck, and I can attract like any type of girl that I really wanted with pretty much at ease. And the cool thing about having good style sense, I wasn't obsessed with like a lot of these style channels. You watch them and they're just like talking about 100 different things: where to buy your shoes, how to shine your shoes, what type of color your pocket square should be, what kind of watch should you have. And I realized very quickly like this was all like superfluous, And I was like, what are the main core principles? And I came up with 8 of them that I saw over and over again. And this is with help from my mentors in fashion, that there are 8 style attraction triggers for men that instantly create that look like, whoa, he's attractive within the first 3 seconds. And you can find out more about the free guide and the 8 triggers in the link below. My whole point was, if I'm sick, if I'm just hanging out with my family, if I'm with my friends, I don't need to worry about my style. I don't need to even put 1 ounce of energy into how I look. But when I'm going out and I want to attract women, I want to meet more people, I know exactly how to dress to instantly flip that switch and get that effect. So my mentor, Mystery, used to tell me, may the Venusian arts enrich your life, not define it. And I kind of apply that to style as well. May my style attraction triggers enrich you and not enslave you, or, you know, make you crazy or you become obsessed with it. The ability to acquire this skill set to enrich your life means that you can turn it on and you can turn it off when you don't need it. And I was also not distracted by all the other like guys who are just into style for style's sake. I was into style to be able to attract women. And I wanted to do this as efficiently as possible and with as minimum energy as possible for maximum rewards. And so that's why I focus on principles, the 8 style attraction triggers that really trigger like emotional responses in women that get you that date, that get you that interest. I'd verbally have a lot of routines, or I knew what to say. And I knew how to say it in an attractive way. And I would get numbers sometimes and I would get some dates. But when I get to a certain ceiling, it just became like a glass, or I call bamboo ceiling. More on that in the next video about being Asian. But I ran to the ceiling with like girls that were a little hotter that just wouldn't give me the time of day. And I would talk to them and you get this, you look in their eyes and they'll be like, oh, hey, so yeah, what's up? And they're kind of waiting for you, like, why should I talk to you? And you know, you could say they're bitches or whatever, but I don't think that's the case. I think, and when it comes to dating, initially people are judgmental. And that's just how human beings behave. And it's fine, especially a cute girl who has a lot of options. Your style, your image will be able to tell her like, I get it, I'm socially intelligent within 2 seconds. Human beings make blink assessments because we don't have time to evaluate everybody and get their whole history. And so I realized this very quickly. And after I had my style down, I would notice girls standing closer to me. I would notice girls like bumping into me or asking me where the bathroom was. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm the exact same height, exact same face, maybe different hairstyle. I removed my mole, sure, but these reactions are like completely night and day. And I'm like, what is going on? And when I would go talk to a girl and say, hey, you looked interesting, exact same opener. Now suddenly when I talk to the girl and she's at the bar with her friends, she'll turn around and she'll be like, oh, hey, how's it going? And she'll start initiating the interaction. My margin of error when I didn't have style was like this. If I made one wrong move, if I leaned in instead of when I should have leaned back for that subtle, you know, value difference, my margin of error was really low before I had good style. And now my margin of error was way, way high. And what this does is, now I'm able to date cuter girls. I'm able to have girlfriends who are cute. I'm able to have girls in my life that are at that level. And after a while, it becomes normal. In the beginning, I would flinch, like, oh, this girl's really cute. I remember when I first moved to LA, I'd be like, whoa, there's Jay Leno. He goes to this like Chinese restaurant that we all go to, and he's sitting right there and he would make jokes with us. He was such a cool guy, but I was just like starstruck. I'm like, whoa, it's Jay Leno. Whoa, it's Anna Kendrick. But after a while in LA, you start getting used to, oh, there's a celebrity, and you don't freak out as much. And that's the same effect you have with like girls of higher calibers, where it's like, whoa, I'm with a girl who models, you know, she could wake up with no makeup on and I would still think she's like this amazing like artwork. Her face is, contours are just so flawless. And you just look at her like, oh yeah, cool. Yeah, that's my friend Casey, you know? It's no longer like a big deal. And what happens, I think, with that level of access, with that high margin of error, is you can still make mistakes, but now you have some leeway where you get the reference experiences that make it real to you that you are this guy at this level and you're deserving of these girls. Not to say that you're not deserving of them before, but now it's just like, it's natural to you. And even if you move to a new city, which I have, and even if you lose these friends, you know now that you have the skill set to be able to get that again. And that with that comes like this freedom of, I have the skill set, I'm never afraid of being alone again. I'm never afraid that I'll never get a girl like that again. So now you're making decisions with your relationships, with your dates, from a place of strength and abundance, of being a man who is not afraid because he has learned how to hunt for himself. And not only that is that super attractive, but for the rest of your life, you'll never feel like you're afraid to lose something. Does that make sense? When you first start out, you have bad style, and then you have no style. Then you have a little bit of style, which is like most guys with like jeans and plaid shirts. Then you have good style, and then you have elite style, where it's like super socially intelligent and in an attractive way that gets you the girl that you want. And when you're at this level, you start meeting girls who are like also at very high levels of the hierarchy sometimes, and you start getting into these circles where there's a lot of money flowing. There's a lot of, not that this stuff matters, but I can just tell you that there's different social spheres of influence, if you will. And if you wanted to go that way, you could do that with your style and your communication skills. However far you want to go, my goal as a coach is to give you the tools so that you can get there. I spent 10 years creating the course Seduce with Style. It's been through 4 iterations, and this latest iteration has over 100 in-depth interviews where I'm teaching you how to create your own style, create your lookbook, find affordable fashion brands for cheap, put together your look, put together your photography in a way where your online dating actually works for you, put together your looks where you're actually getting approach invitations, a really high margin of operation with the girls you want to meet at social events. And if you want to learn more about the course, or if you just want to download the free resource with the 8 style attraction triggers, then check out the link below. But what I really do believe is that your style starts at the beginning of the frame. And if you have that down, the rest of the process of this courtship becomes much, much easier. And you get a lot more lead flow in the beginning, as opposed to trying to get leads as the process goes on. It's one of the first things I have my clients fix, because no matter how good their game is, how their communication is, if they have bad style, it makes the whole thing a lot slower. The only thing, I always leave a caveat at the end of my videos. I would say the only caveat for this particular hypothesis, or this lesson, if you will, is that if you have bad style, I would say the one positive of that is that because your margin of error is so low in your game, when you make a mistake, you'll know right away. So I remember when I was smelly with bad style, I had very low margin. That very subtle, after she says something, I would lean in and I made a mistake, I was out. I learned that I had all these references for mistakes, but I learned very quickly that instead of leaning in, when I throw out one of those hook statements, and if I lean back, the girl will linger and stay for a little bit from a cold approach. And that's when I realized, if you have a low margin of error, if you're not traditionally good looking, if you have something that's really stacked against you, the benefit of that, at least, is that you'll know very quickly what not to do. And a guy with a high margin of error, good looking, he might be making really bad conversation mistakes, but the girl will let it pass, And that's good for him. He'll get the result, but he may not always replicate the result because he hasn't honed into exactly what he did wrong to make his process of gaming more efficient. I have clients who are tall, blonde, good-looking guys, and you're wondering why do they need coaching. And believe me, everyone has issues that you wouldn't think that they have, and they would tell me hey, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And only through listening to their audio and breaking down their interactions were we able to pinpoint those. So I think, yes, one argument against that would be, if you're looking to learn just your pure technical game, having bad style will give you lower margins, which will give you more references of what not to do. However, for most guys, I think they want to start dating and start getting cute girls, right? So by getting cute girls, you also get new reference experiences of what it's like to hang out with that girl, to deal with girls like that, to get that experience. So I feel like the trade-off's not really worth it. So I encourage you to look at your style, download the guide below, take a look at what your attraction score is now, how you're rated by other women, and really go from there to improve your look as much as possible. Concurrently, while you're learning your conversation skills, your game, your social interactions. And I think that if you have your style down, everything else you're doing, even outside of your dating life, including your work, your LinkedIn profile picture, how you come across to other men, powerful men, will be affected by this one skill alone.